Gentlelady from California, Ms. Sanchez, recognized.
I would say to Mr. Akin, I understand I understand that you're worried that chaplains may be afraid to be forthright and say, hey, I just don't really believe in that and I don't want to be there, even though we have protection for them. But in here you say the moral principles and religious beliefs of the members of the armed forces. I mean, you're not just talking about chaplains here, you're talking about the armed forces. So let's say I am a literal to the Bible, and in the Bible it says, you know, gays should be killed. So I go around, stoned, I'm sorry. I go around and I know that you're gay.
Whoa, wait. I'm sorry. Could you repeat what you just said?
I said.
What does it say in the Bible?
I said if I'm a literalist, you know, and I say gays should be killed.
Where does it say that in the Bible?
I'm using it as an example.
But that's not, you said in the Bible. It said that in the Bible.
Excuse me. Okay?
Gentlemen will
I'm asking a hypothetical, and I go around and I say, I believe that gays should be killed. And I say that. Is that a disciplinary action? I mean, this is what I'm trying to get at. I mean, at what point is over the line, and who decides that? Because it's about the armed force. It's saying the members of the armed forces. That's everybody that's in a unit. At what point does discipline disappear? At what point do we say you can say that and you can't say that? I mean, it's a very legitimate question I'm asking you. You're right. You wrote it. I mean, you're asking us to pass it. I'm having a little problem with it being extended across the entire armed forces.
Did you want to yield me time?
Yes, I will yield you time. It's a legitimate question. I mean,
okay. Now, my understanding is the UCMJ would cover something like that. You know, that's like a threat. A UCMJ, you can't threaten other service members. I mean, I think what you're trying to do is to really, you're trying to parse this a little closely. Obviously, it takes a little bit of common sense between, okay, so you're a chaplain and you're...
No, I'm not talking about chaplain. You're a soldier. You're a soldier and you don't believe in gayness, whatever that is, okay? And your religion says it's wrong. Okay. And you're in a unit and you're voicing your opinion. Is that acceptable under this?
If you voice your opinion, just simply say, this is what my belief is, then I think that would be fine. If you say something that's offensive, you're attacking another person, I think that falls under UCMJ.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The line is not very well defined, and you're talking about all the members of the armed forces here. You see what I'm saying?
I understand your concern, and I wasn't in favor of opening the door of the can of worms to begin with. But what's happened is now you have people that are being asked to do things that are against their religious convictions. For example, a chaplain, maybe he doesn't have to do...
I understand the chaplain. I'm asking about when is the line. I understand that what you're talking about with chaplain, but you've also got in here all members of the armed forces. I mean, that's broad. That you know, who's going to be policing who's going over the line and who's not in comments being made in the workplace?
Look, being tolerant of each other is something that we live with every day. Every other citizen in the country lives with it every day. And what we're simply saying is you can't persecute somebody just because they have an opinion. That's what we're saying here. It doesn't go beyond that. It doesn't repeal anything from UCMJ.
I think it's my time. Okay. I'm just saying that I think you're going to put a lot of problems of order and discipline in units and people having to decide what went over the line and what didn't. And I mean, I think it's just very broad. Maybe if you just put chaplains. But the fact that you have all members of the armed forces is completely and totally so broad, Mr. Akin.
I can give you some examples of what's happened. For instance, there were two people that were talking. And they were saying, one of them said, I'm thinking about maybe I might want to be a chaplain sometime. And then another one said, well, what do you think now? We've changed the rules here, and how does that apply? Now, a third person listening said, oh, you've offended me deeply, and you better never say something. So the final thing was he got disciplined saying, never say anything like that or question anything about gay marriage, because you could never be a chaplain if you question that idea. So that'd be an example of two people who were not chaplains, one thinking about being a chaplain who was told, if you ever mention this, you could never possibly that was what the commanding officer said. You can't be a chaplain if you even question it. This is just a common sense thing between.
I just think that the ambiguity and the fact that it would apply across all members of the armed forces makes it even more confusing in the workplace.
Gentlelady's time has expired. Chair now recognizes the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Conaway, for 5 minutes.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I do believe this needs to be extended to everyone on both sides of the argument about sexual orientation. If you're in a Bible study, and some of my colleagues and I are on Bible studies on Wednesday morning, and you were talking about the first chapter of Romans, it has some specific instructions from Paul about homosexuality, which some people agree with and some people don't. But I shouldn't, if I happen to agree with the instructions, I shouldn't be discriminated against by someone in a position of authority over me in the military who happen to hold a different position. And now that Don't Ask, Don't Tell has been repealed, and gay men and women continue to serve, they will be promoted throughout the entire ranks of all the services, as they should. And if I held that position, that Romans, first chapter of Romans, is instructive for me in my beliefs, and my commanding officer, who is gay, takes a different opinion and does not promote me, but simply because of my belief in that, I think I need some protection in that regard. So this is going to be a tough area that we're going to be dealing with over and over and over, but I do believe that not just chaplains, but regular rank-and-file members of the military need protection on their conscience, for their consciously held positions with respect to these very difficult issues to deal with. Now, yield back.